What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I've been working on this Ford right here for quite a while now. I've been driving it, of course, because it's my work truck, but this is it right here. It's a 1999 Ford F150. It's got a 4.2 liter V6. And let me tell you something, man. I've had a lot of problems out of this thing. Bought it at a pretty good price. I drove it all the way back from Drummond's, Tennessee, which was probably about a 2-hour drive. So, and it had a miss at about, I don't know, 65 miles an hour and up. You know, it wasn't bad, but you know, it was a miss. And so I got it back here and tinkered with it a little bit here and there, you know, and it kind of cleared up for a while, a couple of months. And then it started to have a hesitation again, or a stutter right there at about 65, and then it just started to get worse, and then it got to the point to where whenever I cranked it, it would just pretty much just cut off. I mean, just die. Before that, it would let me drive around, and I'd pull up to a red light, but I'd have to keep it revved up, you know? And as long as I keep it revved up, it wouldn't die. A lot of different things, man. I had a lot of issues with it, but I went through and swapped out all kinds of stuff. I swapped out rudder positioning sensor. I swapped out the mass airflow sensor, which the mass airflow sensor wire actually had a little graze in it, so it kind of had a little cut in there. So I snipped it, rewired it, put some stuff on there, took care of it. I had a lot of problems, man. I took my entire top end of my intake off, and I replaced the gasket right there, even though I had sprayed carburetor cleaner around that to try to see if, you know, I could find one through a vacuum or something like that. I took that into consideration, vacuum hoses. I did find some bad vacuum hoses, believe it or not, but those were not the root issue. It did clear a lot of stuff up. Actually had a PCV valve back there in the back, southeast corner of the motor. If the front is north. Fix that. A couple of different things. The what do you call that thing? EGR valve. I cleaned up the EGR valve system. You know, I did that. But I'll tell you what got me on this track. Whenever I took off the top end, I noticed that these little fins on there where the manifold was, and it goes back to what we call an IMRC valve, intake manifold runner control valve, and never even heard of it. You know what I mean? And so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it at the time, and it drove a little better after I fixed it. But anyways, I ended up getting spark plug wires for it, which made a dramatic difference. Let me tell you, I went from an Omnispark to an Ultima, and a lot of my problem just kind of eradicated itself. The misfire was basically gone. Now at this point in time, I just had a slight hesitation, and so I changed my coil out at the top, even though it wasn't really old. I still changed it out anyways and got the better version, BWD. And so, of all that said, I have officially came to the conclusion that it is the IMRC system. And if I spray all-purpose lubricant on that IMRC valve, it runs phenomenal for a couple of days, and then it seems to stick itself back up. So I'm kind of going to give a short explanation of what I understand of the IMRC. So your EGR and your intake system has a gas recirculation system, which is your emission gas recirculation, is EGR. And so your EGR recirculates this gas, and how it knows how much gas to circulate is because of the IMRC valve. So it releases so much gas into the intake from the intake manifold. So it rolls around, and then let's say if it's at 3,000 RPMs, it releases so much gas, versus at 8,000 or 7,000 RPMs, which release more gas. So when the gas is not releasing proper, it's causing gas buildup in specific cylinders, which is causing a misfire. And so if the IMRC is running properly, then whilst the RPMs where they are in the engine idling where it is, it releases the proper amount of gas, because the flutter butterfly wing things inside of the, I'm not that savvy with it, this is what I understand, the butterfly wing things that are in the intake manifold are able to fluctuate properly. So as far as I know, I think that that's pretty much the gist of it, and I've pretty much figured it out. The part's like $300, so I'm not capable of getting it just at the moment, but I'll get it here in the next day or two, a couple of days maybe. But regardless, that's my issue. And as long as I put this old lubricant on here, I don't have a hesitation. I don't have a misfire. I don't have a sputter. Nothing. I've never had an idle issue with it. It always just cranks right up. It's idled perfectly fine. But at one point in time, I mean, it would idle all day long. But the second that you gave it gas, it would basically shut down. You know. But anyways, all that because the IMRC was getting stuck, so it's not stuck now. So maybe this can help somebody, you know. But I'm going to show you where it is real quick. So you got to bear with me because this is the front-facing camera and I can't swap it around because it's a Note 5. Hold on. Oh, so even though I don't have a flashlight, I'm still going to point to it. It's right back and there, like right there, almost at the tip of my finger. All right, it's right down in there. It's got two white bushings. It's got two white bushings on the top and the bottom, and they go basically like this. So the valves do this, and the butterflies open up on either side of the intake. It's a V6, so it's got 3 cylinders on both sides. They go this way, and it just flutters it open with the gas, recirculates through the exhaust system, comes around into the intake, and it just recirculates it so it keeps the emissions down. Well, that's it, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. 1999 Ford F-150 4.2 liter V6. Have a good one.